And get straight into it. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands of this project. The much-loved Puffing Billy Railway is one of the most popular heritage steam railways in the world. It's really a story of resilience of local volunteers starting it as a tourism experience in the 1950s. And it's just on resilience, I'd like to sort of touch upon two aspects that make me incredibly proud of the entire team, client, our own team of TERROIR, sub-consultants and builders. Early on, the entire CEO and board were resigned due to a sort of ombudsman investigation, which has had a sort of tremendous effect actually on the organisation, and one that we didn't skip a beat. And then that's the 270 days you see during construction that we're actually physically absent from the site and had to do everything via remote, given our location in Tasmania. In recent times, Puffing Billy has experienced unprecedented growth, particularly exceeding capacity on the first half of the line, whilst only 10% of visitors went to the second half of the line. So the decision was made to locate a contemporary and functional centre at the sort of midpoint here. The inherited master plan proposed the sort of 2,500 square metre building to be separate from the existing station. Instead, we sought to sort of ground the building and make it sort of grow out of the sort of existing station. We looked at a platform that over time had developed in sort of a variety of ways, but always maintained that sort of strong functional connection. Along this platform, the varied functions and operations of the brief are arranged, a form that regularly switches back to mimic the railway journey, and really sort of work around the sort of objects of the railway and the sort of the conditions we're trying to sort of make on outdoor spaces and indoor spaces for our sort of new building. Often in tourism projects, there is pressure to build a new experience. The challenge for this project was to enhance the already iconic Puffing Billy Railway experience. And our strategy was to build upon the existing characteristics of the railway, creating a visitor experience anchored within the authentic sights, smells and sounds. For context, the sort of existing station there on the left comes in for Belgrave, and then the building picks one up in sort of a small walkway and gradually extends as it turns around the sort of the railway siding. The linear arrangement of carriage-like functions is simple, legible and accessible to the many types of visitors. You see here, having entered around about the sort of middle of the screen, the series of sort of tickets and admin, then a break to the retail, then a break to the cafe, which is parallel to the tracks, returns again to the kitchen and amenities, breaks for a multi-purpose space, and then breaks finally for the sort of great hall at the far right end. The interior really sits between the sort of this concrete platform that forms the platform, the base, and then the sort of the metal cladding over the top. The interior primarily comprises these carriage-like functions arranged in these sort of breaks with these nooks between, and a long timber sort of structure. We see the interior very much as part of the sort of the overall project that contributes this instrument-like quality of sort of experiencing the multiple dimensions of the site. You see here, the sort of the design grows out of the existing Lakeside Station and expands in scale. Behind is native bushland, and overlooking is a sort of the European park setting that was once one of the largest plant nurseries in the Southern Hemisphere. Hidden when viewed from the lake below, the interior is really important in terms of giving that presence, that curious presence of life when the darkness takes hold. The cladding resembles the signature black steam locos, and the occasional pleat-like openings in the enclosure hint at this sort of different interior. Further hints of the interior from a horizontal slot where the cafe terrace slides out, sunny and sheltered. So let's go inside. From here, where train and park visitors intersect, they walk into a sort of welcomed into a freely accessible journey along a 150-metre long internal space, featuring nearly 3,000 square metres of sustainably sourced Victorian rough-sawn timber with an imprinted rhythm of structure that's inspired by the sort of trestle bridges that are so important for the Puffing Billy experience. Thus, the connection to place is made both in the physical and in the psychospatial means. The walkway here kissing the outside level, then rising up again, allowing a view from the cafe off to the right. The further sort of these carriage-like zones along the building are actually sort of coded in a very subtle way, but they take on unique singular colour palettes representative of the colours of the railway, the deep blue of the engineers' uniforms, the deep green, red and black, all reminiscent of the steam engines operating on the line. An intentionally minimal interior palette consisting of home concrete floors, timber lining and powder-coated black structural steel. The simplified palette enhances the connection out of the colour and the life of the railway. Here you see the cafe, which balances between the views uphill to the left and over the sort of park to the right. A layering of materials provides enclosure for cafe users and views for activities beyond. Nooks between key functions are in black express framing. These are flexible spaces to dwell, little gallery spaces, chances to stop, absorb information and watch the flow of people. Some have skylights providing alternate views back to the bush, which is a real contradictory scene to the European park seen through the continuous glazed facade on the left of the left image. Further along, and the continuous window trackside. We collaborated with specialist lighting to design the custom feature pendants that run the length of the timber-lined interior, a light reminiscent of rail infrastructure, but decidedly contemporary in its form. These multi-arm pendant lights provide the required ambient light in the space, but also can be positioned more specifically to illuminate the display objects. In an interpretive sense, the visitor moves from the wider landscape to a more specific journey into the world of Puffing Billy and the Great Hall. Culminating in the distance there is Loco 3A, a 12-ton salvaged precious artefact of the railway. It was installed early and the space was actually built around it. The undulating ground plane is a feature, I think, of the centre and is carried through the internal spaces such as the Great Hall. Visitors leave with a greater understanding of the stories of the railway, the people and the place, including the story of the traditional owners. And finally, at the sort of bottom of the Great Hall, this is the slip between the inside and the outside, where visitors move back outside under one of those timber pleats and a sense of enclosure to the sort of platform edge beyond. And then finally, the building alongside the new siding, hinting at the sort of interior inside, a silhouette backdrop, grounded in place and not overpowering, to the real hero that is the Puffing Billy Railway. Thank you.